entrepreneurs. So as you might have gotten a notice, we are actually recording the event so that others who may not necessarily be able to participate right now can also join in. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Amber Ravenscroft, who is co-chair of National Entrepreneurship Week. Amber?
Hi, everyone. I'm really excited to see familiar faces and to meet some people that we haven't had the opportunity to connect with yet. So as Joe mentioned, I helped co-chair this, and he doesn't tell you this, but on that cold night in Benton County, he was actually vegetarian for a single day. and then it ended very quickly. But we're really excited to be here. Joe is a serial entrepreneur. I am a serial educator. So we kind of represent this stakeholder group from across the country. So Joe, do you want to give a little bit of background here, and then we can dive into the programming and the agenda?
Sure. So National Entrepreneurship Week was originally founded by a congressional resolution in 2006. And then over the years, there was a bit of a shift into other areas and Global Entrepreneurship Week and stuff like that. But as all of us know who work on as entrepreneurial ecosystem community members and leaders, we know that entrepreneurship is a local, at least in the beginning, is a very much a local endeavor. And so we relaunched National Entrepreneurship Week with a number of different folks from a number of different organizations, including NACE, the National Association for Community College Entrepreneurship, Every Library, John Chakrasta, who I believe is on the call today, the Rural Community Assistance Partnership, EntreEd, the organization that Amber works with, which is Adventure, the nonprofit. All of these are nonprofits. The nonprofit that I started, which is the National Center for Resource Development. So you as entrepreneurial ecosystem folks are supremely important in the role that you play in encouraging entrepreneurship, providing resources and opportunities to entrepreneurs all around the United States. And from my own personal experience, entrepreneurship has become a cause célèbre. Is that a word? It's a bit of my mission after becoming a serial entrepreneur and seeing how it changed my own personal situation. I really wanted to go ahead and be able to give back to communities all across the United States. So we're excited because the work that you do in working with communities and with videos and helping people gain access to funding and finances and helping them navigate, it's absolutely important. So I want to go ahead and welcome everybody. Amber, back to you.
Perfect. So as Joe mentioned, entrepreneur, I'm an educator, and you all are ecosystem builders. So those are kind of the three target audiences that our National Entrepreneurship Week programming serves each year. And we have aligned our daily themes this year with those target audiences. So first and foremost, the entrepreneurs, the boots on the ground that are looking for support, resources, and access to this network, the ecosystem builders that are there to provide that support and those resources, and then the educators that are building our future generation of entrepreneurs, as well as supporting those who might be looking for a career shift. So we really tried to provide programming and engage all three of these target audiences in each of our events, and encourage you all, if you're hosting your own events, to also consider how you can provide access to each of these audiences in your work. So what we wanted to go over today, we're going to talk about and announce the official daily themes for National Entrepreneurship Week 2022. We do have some National Entrepreneurship Week events that we are hosting and planning, but would encourage you all, again, to provide your own resources and your own programs and events in alignment with those daily themes to really complement the National Entrepreneurship Week program. We're going to talk about getting engaged. So we have some communication tools we want to share, and some different templates, from proclamations to event briefings and press releases. And then last but not least, this network has grown significantly since the relaunch, and we're seeing a need for an ecosystem kind of platform to help us manage everything that's going on, from events to resources to just people that want to connect. And so we have partnered with Startup Space to create National Entrepreneurship Week's first Startup Space Hub, and we'll go over a little bit about what's involved with that, how to register, and how to navigate. And I want to give a quick shout out to Molly King on here, who is going to help answer any technical questions that I might not be able to answer when we get to that section. So perfect. So daily themes, we have 5 different themes that will take place during the work week. So National Entrepreneurship Week officially runs Saturday to Saturday, but given that the majority of the programming takes place during the work week, we are assigning themes for those days. So our first day, which actually is Valentine's Day, will kick off with entrepreneurship education. We have some great partner programs that we will talk about in just a bit, but we like to say we love our entrepreneurial educators, given that little play on Valentine's Day. Tuesday, are you all entrepreneurship ecosystems? Wednesday, we do federal and government entrepreneurship. Last year, we piloted for the first time Federal Entrepreneurship Day and just saw unprecedented participation from federal agencies, and it has gotten even more robust this year. So we have a really jam-packed day of programs for Wednesday Federal and Government Entrepreneurship Day. Celebrating entrepreneurs on Thursday, so uplifting the diverse and unique voices of entrepreneurs across the country. And then finally, Friday, we'll wrap up with one of the most important conversations that an entrepreneur can have, funding and finance. How do we get them the capital that they need to start, sustain, scale their businesses? So these are the programs that we are currently working on. I'll do the first couple of days, and then Joe and I will kind of talk about Federal Entrepreneurship Day, and then he'll do the last couple of days. So our Monday program, we have 3 panels back to back. We have awesome partner orgs that are going to be leading those. So our first panel at 1 p.m. is focused on higher education in partnership with the United States Association for Small Business and Entrepreneurship. So you'll hear Joe and I talk a lot about how acronyms are our biggest enemy. So I'm going to try to avoid saying acronyms, but USASB for short is our partner for that first panel. Our second panel at 2 p.m. is focused on community colleges. So we have a partnership with the National Association for Community College Entrepreneurship, or NACCE. And then the last panel of Monday's program is our 3 o'clock panel with EntreEd, or the Consortium for Entrepreneurship Education. I see Jean's on here, who's going to talk about the importance of K-12 connections in that pipeline of entrepreneurship education. So really robust. I see this question in the chat. Yes, all times are Eastern. We purposefully pick afternoon panels so that from Hawaii, I see Grace Fung on here. Hello, Maui Business Brainstormers. Hawaii folks can also join. So we want to make sure that for the most part, our programs are going to be in the afternoon that we formally put on to reach that whole span of the time zones. Then Tuesday's program, we have just awesome partners that are going to be leading those. And I will let Sonia talk a little bit about, I see you're on here, so I'm going to put you on the spot. But I know Bill's at a conference, so I'll carry the torch for him on this one. But same thing, Tuesday program, 1 to 3, 3 panels in a row. The first one will be on building your local entrepreneurship ecosystem. So kind of ecosystems 101, how to get started, how to engage with them. The second one will be on leveraging national resources for your entrepreneurship ecosystem. And we have a great partner in Stephen Rodriguez, who will be leading that. Bill Woodrum with the West Virginia Business Link ecosystem will be leading the first one. And then Sonia, do you want to talk a little bit about panel 3? Because I don't want to, you know so much more.
Hi, everyone. We're super excited. Thank you for letting me share kind of how this session is mapping out. The whole theme came from sometimes I think we can be overloaded with data and research as ecosystem practitioners, and yet we always feel like there's just not enough. So I've invited practitioners from different areas, the financial sector, somebody who's in the policy making space, as well as our senior VP from ICIC who does research on when it comes to entrepreneurship. And so I'm hoping it's going to be a lively discussion about the ways and which we use data and research for our space, but also with the dichotomy between the amount of data that is available but lacking of data, how can we all actually work together on collaboration opportunities for the future and in support of your local economic development opportunities?
Great. Let me just add one as a recovering ecosystem builder. Data is so important on a lot of the grants and grant writing and stuff like that. So being able to navigate that, Sonia, thank you to you and the ICIC team for putting together what's going to be a robust panel, particularly for all of the ecosystem builders who are joining us today and who will be participating throughout that week. Amber?
Awesome. And speaking of ecosystem, there is just a robust ecosystem of federal agencies that are really interested in supporting this effort. So last year we had 3 panels. This year we have 8 because Joe likes to stress me out. We have so many agencies that came to the table when we just floated the idea of 4, that in order to give them time to accurately talk about their programs and their resources, we wanted to repeat those sessions with different agencies. So we have 4 panels back to back. These ones will start at 9 a.m., but there is a repeat of that again in the afternoon. Panel 1, and you'll see these mirror the target audiences as well that we focus on, is how to get money for your biz from the federal government. A big focus of this will be those SBIR, STTR programs, as well as additional grant and funding programs. Panel 2 is on how the U.S. government fosters entrepreneurship education from cradle to career. We're looking at K-12, community colleges, higher ed, and adult education programs. Panel 3, how to get started, a roadmap to federal resources for every entrepreneur. So these are some resources that might not necessarily be competition or grant funding based, but are accessible and free and available to everybody if you're interested or currently starting a business or have already kind of grown your business and are looking to scale. And then finally, back to that idea of partnership and ecosystems. This was the panel with the most interest. We have tons of agencies that are focused on funding for entrepreneurship ecosystems. And so we're going to wrap up the day, both AM and PM, with the power of partnership engaging entrepreneurial ecosystems. Joe, do you want to talk a little bit about the agencies?
Yeah, I just want to add a couple of minor additions to that. So first of all, to Amber's point with regards to number 4, aside from maybe a small handful of programs, the majority of federal government entrepreneurship programs oftentimes deal with the ecosystems piece. So I think that panel number 4 is particularly germane for the folks who are participating today. As Amber said, we have 8 panels, but we are going to have a representation and different representation from a host of agencies. And also keep in mind that this is not the typical folks who come to the table. It's not only the typical folks who come to the table, but there's going to be a variety of wonderful folks coming from an array of agencies, from the Department of Energy, USDA, NIH, from a whole host of agencies. And so we'd really encourage you to not only attend these events, but also encourage your folks to participate in them as well, because the federal government folks have worked really hard this year to consider both the content as well as the speakers that are going to be participating in during that week. And it just is a great way to showcase the array of programs. A lot of folks don't necessarily know about those programs. And there's going to be a lot of hidden gems that are going to be revealed that the government folks have great programs, but oftentimes they're not necessarily well known. So we're excited to be able to showcase federal government entrepreneur and government entrepreneurship. And then let me just add one other thing. If you are a state or a local government, feel free to participate in this day as well. I mean, we're able to participate in every day. Every day is National Entrepreneurship Day as far as I'm concerned, but we wanted to really shine a spotlight on the role that public policy and governments play. And so we are going to be putting together a proclamation, a draft proclamation, a sample template proclamation that municipalities can use and share about their support for National Entrepreneurship Week. Amber, back to you.
Perfect. So a brief intermission of programming. Just want to get this on your radar. We have a 30-minute window in the middle of Federal Entrepreneurship Day for a social media storm. We like to just flood all of our social platforms with support of entrepreneurship at that time. We'll go over some communications resources that will make that super light lift, but wanted to get that on your radar at 1 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Plan to schedule as many posts as you can. Let's flood our social channels with support of entrepreneurship and really just boost that impact and that engagement and reach that we're seeing in terms of providing these resources to the entrepreneurs that are on those social media channels. So keep that on your list. And then Joe, I am going to make you talk about these ones because you have a much more in-depth understanding of kind of what you're thinking for the Thursday and Friday program.
Yeah, thank you so much. So for the Thursday program, we're going to be celebrating entrepreneurs. And it's really going to be highlighting an array of entrepreneurs, their own experiences from a variety of different backgrounds to really showcase the beautiful tapestry across the United States of various types of entrepreneurs. We have a couple of special entrepreneurs who are going to be kicking us off and capping at the end. Actually, I can probably reveal our final speaker is Kara Golden, who is the founder and CEO of Hint Water. So if you're familiar with Hint Water, if you've ever gotten some flavor water, you're probably familiar with her. So she's going to talk about and be the capstone speaker at the end of the day. But during that program on Thursday, we're going to be highlighting an array of entrepreneurs from a variety of different backgrounds. So folks who are interested in starting a business can really identify the types of entrepreneurs that maybe they identify most with. And it's not just going to be high-tech scaling entrepreneurs, but it's going to be an array of entrepreneurs that have agreed to go ahead and speak on that day. In addition, what's not yet listed and what is still underway is our second annual Metaverse National Entrepreneurship Week convening. That's right, folks. You heard it here. You heard it live. Last year, I built a world, and this year, in collaboration with Bill Woodrum over from West Virginia, we're going to build another world. So if you for the holidays bought your Oculus or you've got virtual reality, keep posted for more information about that. Last year we had a lot of fun doing that, and we will provide more details here in the not too distant future. Finally, on Friday, it's probably the most requested information that we receive as ecosystem builders. And we're putting together a series of 3 panels, but although we may be adding another one based on a conversation that we had today with one of the federal government agencies, we may add one more. On Friday, it's Funding Friday. So we're going to look at the array of types of funding and bringing a variety of different speakers to kind of do a life cycle, as it were, of funding. So at 1 o'clock, we're going to be talking about bootstrapping. How do you use your money in order to finance your business? At 2 o'clock, we're going to talk about a little bit more of some of the established banking and fintech, where you're using other people's money, but we're not going ahead and giving away ownership in that capacity. We're not going ahead and giving shares. That you as the founder will continue to maintain the ownership of that. And then the last piece is going to be seeking outside investors. So that's where you give up a portion of your ownership for folks from the outside, whether you're seeking just an infusion of capital or you want to go public. And so that will be at 3 p.m. And that'll cap the week and provide an opportunity for folks to really learn and run the gamut. For some of us, we don't necessarily know all the components of these various types of financing. It'll be a great learning experience. This is really a great place, actually, for whether you're an entrepreneur, you're an educator, or an ecosystem builder. Funding Friday, I think, is going to prove to be a really, really valuable series of conversations. So, Amber, back to you.
Perfect. So we did send out our media kit to the federal agencies so far, but this is available on that platform. We have done it officially where in order to use the logo on any of your events, you must be an approved platform member. So if you haven't already, when we get to that point, make sure you get in there and go ahead and sign up and register so that the official logo, you're free to use that on any of your event promotions, but it covers our logo, the colors, the hashtag, gives a little bit more in-depth information on the target audiences, provides some key messages like the mission, vision, and values of National Entrepreneurship Week, as well as many downloadable social posts and language for both overall support and those daily themes. So that is downloadable as a resource in the ecosystem platform that we just launched. If you want it, but you don't want to go ahead and get on that platform, just send us an email. I'll put my email in the chat and we can discuss what that looks like. But we're trying to, as much as possible, streamline our processes because this has just grown at an incredible rate and we're really thrilled about that.
And Amber, I just want to give you a quick shout out and just say thank you for throughout the entire year. You have tolerated meeting with me once a week to be able to put together an array of assets and really co-create on here. So I know you're going to get into a little bit more of that, but I just want to go ahead and just say how amazing it's been to work with you during this past year. I think one of the things that you will find is that there's a lot more assets to make everybody's lives as ecosystem developers a lot easier. And so I just want to give a quick shout out to Amber and to Tina, who've worked tirelessly in the background, pulling things together, as well as, if you've seen any of the tweets, we have an intern, and she's not on the call today because hopefully she's in class, who has been helping us and putting together tweets. She was an entrepreneurial student of mine when she was in high school in Appalachia, and agreed to somehow miraculously continue to work with Amber and I. So I just wanted to give a quick shout because all of the work that's done is a labor of love for sure. So Amber, back to you.
Thanks, Joe. I would blush if I wasn't so pale. But I appreciate it. So in addition to the media kit, which is kind of just overall functional communications, we are finalizing some editable templates that everyone can use to provide some formatting for your events or your resources. So we will have an event press release that'll have some details, kind of cover the who, what, where, when of what you're planning, but also give you some quotes and language from this core team to be able to share that that's a National Entrepreneurship Week event. So again, that will be behind the approval process for events that you submit through the portal. A proclamation template. I want to shout out to Jean and EntreEd and the Kauffman Foundation in 2006. They put together this great proclamation that talked about the importance of entrepreneurship education and kind of the founding of National Entrepreneurship Week. And so we have just added that a little bit to kind of widen that target audience to include the 3 stakeholder groups, but it has a lot of that original language as well. And that is available for state, local, any government to kind of declare National Entrepreneurship Week formally for your systems. And then a general support template to just share what we're planning for National Entrepreneurship Week with your networking constituents and invite them to attend.
And Amber, on that note, I also want to go ahead and give a quick shout out to the Economic Impact Catalyst. That's the platform that we're running on, to Molly, to Jackie, not to David, no, to David as well, who is the founder of the company, and just say a quick thank you for what we have this year. And you might get into this in just a moment, but we have a platform that's helping to support so that the administrivia that previously Amber and I, mostly Amber, was coordinating is significantly less. So Molly and the rest of the team, Jackie and everybody else, thank you so much for all of the time and the effort that you've helped with us putting this all together. I promise to keep my VPN off. Okay, Amber, back to you.
Yeah, we like to troubleshoot because Joe gives us all the troubles. So he is helping us troubleshoot it tremendously. But yeah, speaking of, so we, again, this is beta testing. So a lot of the coordinated pieces are not quite active, but the infrastructure is. So you can sign up today and get some of the things that are already in there. But if you go to the NationalEshipWeek.org website and you click join the ecosystem up there on the menu, it'll take you to this landing page. And this landing page is where you register for a startup space account. So all you would have to do is click get connected. You'll create your account and it will automatically put you in the National eShip Week hub. Going to this landing page will make that really easy. If you go to startup space and just try to sign up, it's gonna geographically place you in hubs that are in your local communities because it's really about ecosystem and local communities. So you'll want to make sure that if you're signing up, you go through the National eShip website just to streamline that. If you're already a startup space member, I believe, Molly, correct me if I'm wrong, you can search for the National eShip Week hub and join it that way, correct?
You can, and by logging in through this landing page, it will add you to it and put you right there, so you don't have to worry about changing your hub in the system.
Okay, good. So yeah, so we're again, this is new to us, but it's an awesome tool for us to just kind of keep everyone connected, keep all the resources in the events in one place, and make that approval process really easy for us as we are looking at kind of just sharing events that are taking place across the country. So please consider, as an ecosystem builder or an organization that is hosting your own events, registering in that portal to have your own events and resources be listed as available to other to entrepreneurs, educators, and ecosystem builders across the country. So a little bit of how it looks. And again, this is not completely filled out yet, but when you get onto the website, there will be 3 stories at the top that feature our different target audiences and how to engage with the ecosystem. So there's just a little story about ways you can do that. There's some featured events on the right-hand side. You're able to fill out your profile, talk about your own businesses, create kind of all your own resources so that whenever people are interested, they can go to they can direct message you, you can kind of build those connections. And there is an open forum where if you have questions about anything, you can put that in there and we can either help you or connect you to somebody that might be able to help you. And then on the left-hand side, which I just, from a screenshot perspective, it wouldn't fit, is where you'll see the resources and the events. And they will look something like this. They'll also be hyperlinked on our website where you can search by your location. It'll give you a whole list of events that are available. One thing to keep in mind, right now it is defaulting to Washington, D.C., so it might not show events. You'll want to go ahead and widen your location radius to say United States to search all of the events that are available, but we are working on that. So this is where everything will be hosted. Once you submit your event, it's approved, it is searchable, and you can select your target audience, whether that be ecosystem builders, educators, or entrepreneurs, your industry, kind of everything that you would want to do. We've tried to make it as simple as possible and keep it on those 3 stakeholder groups.
And Amber, just to provide a little bit of context to this, one of the biggest questions that we've often gotten from people and entrepreneurs in particular is, I'm really trying to find an event that does X, Y, or Z, or trying to find a particular type of event in a particular location, and so we were fielding a lot of those questions, and it was taking up a lot of time to be able to point people in the right direction. So there's a lot of significant benefits to adding this, but one of the most significant is that it's going to make it significantly easier for folks to be able to find the events that are taking place across the United States for National Entrepreneurship Week. So we're excited to add this as a tool and make it easier. At the end of the day, all of the work that we do as ecosystem developers and even as educators it's all about the entrepreneurs at the end of the day. And so trying to make it as easy as possible, as frictionless as possible, so they can go ahead and build out businesses, create jobs, and change the world in hopefully beneficial ways. So it's a great resource that we now have available to us. Amber, back to you.
Yeah, and there is, as I mentioned, it will be an approval process. So there are some just baseline criteria that a team will be looking at before we approve the event. So for instance, they have to be free. We don't want to have any paid events. They really should be open to everyone. So not targeting or
not excluding anybody.
Yeah,
not excluding anybody.
Not excluding anyone. They should be non-denominational, nonpartisan. They should really be open to everyone, equitable to everyone. And we're really looking for educational events. We don't want selling events where we're talking about a specific product or anything like that. We really want them to be educational in nature. That is the goal of National Entrepreneurship Week, is to be educational. So when events are in here, we'll either approve them, or if we do have questions or requests, we'll get in touch with the submitter if there is anything that we're questioning to see if we can adjust that. But really, as long as they are open to everyone, they are free, they're educational, that's kind of the baseline criteria that the team will be looking at for approval. Similarly, same with the resource. So you can put in any resource that you like you can list your website, you can list your program, you can list educational resources like white papers, you can do blogs, articles, any communication toolkits that you'd like, funding and capital resources. The resource directory is really robust. So there's not a whole lot of parameters around what is considered a resource, but this is an approval process as well, and it will need to be free. But this is a great place for somebody if they're looking for some type of information in a local community about a funding program. They can just get on and search again with that same criteria to see. So right now that media kit is on there if you want to see a little bit about how resources work. But once you're in there, feel free to add your own websites, your own programs for that approval process. We'd love to get as many as possible populated in there to really make them accessible, and this to be a great tool when it goes live for National Entrepreneurship Week.
And Amber, I dropped my email address in the chat, but if anyone has any questions or issue, concerns with the platform or any trouble signing up, please feel free to reach out to me directly, just at mollyking@startupspace.app. Happy to help with anything I can.
Perfect. And Molly put together these awesome how-to guides on how to register and go straight through to events and resources. So we will have those on our website, as well as downloadable links. So if you go to the events page, you should be able to like click them. They're just a couple of things that we're finalizing, but we wanted to give you guys a sneak peek at everything that we're working on, to really make this as easy as possible to navigate, both from the participant side, but also on the planning side. So Joe, do you want to go over our asks? And then we'll open up for questions.
Sure. So as in past years, we're going to ask you to start tweeting soon, early, and often using the hashtag National Entrepreneurship Week there. It is shortened. There's also the @National Entrepreneurship Week that is on Twitter. We also have a LinkedIn page set up now for National Entrepreneurship Week. We would also encourage you to register for National Entrepreneurship Week events and echo those events with the folks in your community and the entrepreneurs. Join the National Entrepreneurship Week Hub, as Amber said, and share some resources. Well, one of the things that we know entrepreneurs, one of the biggest challenges is for them finding the things that they want to, or that they want or that they need in order to be able to launch their business. And when I was at the U.S. Department of Commerce, the National Advisory Council on Innovation and Entrepreneurship, I had a lot of opportunity to be able to see in a variety of different federal government agencies what was going on in those agencies and a lot of the great programs that are out there. And so one of the things that we're asking them as a part of their presentations is to share some of those resources and make those as well available as well. And then the other thing is you guys do this on an annual basis, on a regular basis, day in and day out. So consider hosting your own event and be sure to share it. Letting entrepreneurs know in the communities that you serve. You know, it's been a bit of a crazy time the last 2 years, the last couple of years, but what we do know is that there's a lot of people who are looking towards entrepreneurship in a way that they haven't before. And so they're going to be looking towards the resources, the skills building, the seminars, the access to capital, and all of the wonderful programs that each of you offer. And so please go ahead and consider hosting an event, whether it's online or inline, virtual, or however you want to conduct it. And please share also any resources with your communities. The goal of entrepreneurship is to democratize entrepreneurship so everybody has equal access to be able to enjoy in the benefits and the challenges of building your own business. Amber, back to you.
Yeah, so I did see, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or like raise your hand and we will ask you to unmic. But I did see one question. It's a great question, is do you have to be on the hub to register for the events? And the answer is no. We will have a searchable database of events on our website, and most of those will redirect to the hosting events platform. So for instance, even today's meeting, it'll be listed, but it'll redirect to our Zoom registration link. So you can sign up and register for any event without being a hub member. In order to submit event, though, you will need to be registered on the site.
Yeah, Amber, I think that's an important clarification. In order to be able to submit an event, you have to be one of the ecosystem partners, and that just requires you to register in order to make sure that that the events that are being put out there, that folks are able to gain access to. The only caveat with regards to the signing up is that when we do the Metaverse VR event, there will probably be a sign up for that, only because there's going to be probably a different set of software, but it's not actually ours. We'll have some more information about that. I see a question from Eden.
Hi, yeah, I was going to type it out, but it was too much. So you guys talked a little bit about like some of the social stuff that you have on the site. I was looking at the social tools, and it has like hashtags to use and some like, what am I looking, pictures to use. And can anybody use that, or do you have to be registered on the hub and approved to use those tools? Or
so the ones that are publicly available on our website, feel free to use them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Eden, welcome. I don't think I've seen you before, so welcome. Thank you for joining us. Amber.
Any other questions? I mean, that is the end of our formal program. I can kind of share the save the date, but 12th through the 19th. And then we have I'll go ahead and share so that you can see our National Entrepreneurship Week emails if you have any questions about anything. But if there aren't, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, if you have any questions, feel free. Now's a good opportunity, one, to introduce yourself, but also if you have a question while we're doing that. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to Bill Woodrum over from West Virginia and the work that he does there, corralling the ecosystem. He is a great partner and has been instrumental in helping us coordinate the activities for that day. And so I just wanted to highlight and recognize and thank Bill for all of the work that he's doing, and Sonia, and a lot of the other folks who continue to come back year after year. We're very, very excited to have our friends over in Maui. The folks in Maui were one of the first folks 5 years ago. They were some of the first folks to join us in the ecosystem piece. After National Entrepreneurship Week, we're going to look at potentially convening all the folks here again for some post, Monday morning quarterback, and seeing how we might have opportunities to continue to improve on National Entrepreneurship Week on a year-over-year out basis. I know that we have a question that I saw in Amber. Are you planning to share the recording?
Yep. I just responded. It'll go straight to email for everyone that registered, and we'll also plan to put it on the site and share it publicly, just so those that weren't able to join or had not kind of been forewarned about this meeting, that they can go ahead and see what we're thinking too.
And the only other request that I would make is that if you know of other organizations, feel free to bring them to the table. The goal for National Entrepreneurship Week is to help support the educators, the ecosystem builders, and the entrepreneurs. We don't know what we don't know, and there's a lot of folks who are doing amazing work all across the United States in little nooks and crannies and large cities. And feel free to share the information, the media kits. We're going to have some additional announcements that are coming down the pike in the not too distant future. So please keep an eye out on the emails. And with that, I have nothing else to say, which is rare.
It's a miracle, guys. Yeah, if there are no other questions, and we don't want to keep you for the full hour. We know time is precious, especially in the era of Zoom meetings. So we appreciate you all for joining, everyone for registering, and we'll be sending follow-up. So definitely stay in touch with us.
And I'll hang on for just a little bit longer for anybody else who has some questions. Thank you all. It's great to see so many great faces. Everybody stay safe, and we will see you Valentine's Day, February 14th. Love an entrepreneur.
It's a date.
It's a date. Let's have a date. Stay safe, everybody. We'll talk soon.